As far as our gig economy is concerned and gig workers, and considering the workforce that we have in the gig economy, it has grown substantially. About 55% or so, because it was 7.7 million, it has gone up to 12 million. So it is quite substantial, this entire workforce. Very recently, you had the Swiggy workers, you had your Zomato workers, they were protesting, and they were asking for something very simple because, yes, fuel prices are going up. This means that there are cost pressures for them. They want a minimum wage of 20 rupees per kilometer. That's one of their asks. But the pressures are mounting, and now today, we have the taxi and the auto workers in the Delhi NCR region who are going on a 3-day strike. Now, how is this entire scenario of the gig economy, which was very promising, now changing and altering in a way that our economy as a whole starts feeling the impact? Because we're talking about work from home. We are also talking about a lot of changes. We're just talking about layoffs as well. All of that builds pressure on the gig economy because then you'd have some people moving into the gig economy as well. And more people working from home means that these people are going to have that competition as well, and they will find the squeeze much more difficult to deal with. And of course, there is the commission issue when it comes to the aggregators because they're getting squeezed from all sides, whether it's the fuel costs, whether it is the commission issue. From every side, the gig worker is getting squeezed. Let me introduce you to our panel who's taking on the big question that we're asking tonight. Is fuel inflation crushing our gig workers? Sangam Tripathi is with us, National Advisor at the Indian Federation of App-Based Transport Workers. He joins us from Delhi along with Gaura Sen Gupta, Chief Economist at IDFC First Bank, also from the National Capital where the auto taxi strike is playing out. So, Mr. Tripathi, drivers across Delhi NCR on that 3-day strike, they're citing rising fuel costs, stagnant fares. Are the current earnings simply not sustainable anymore?
Hi. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the drivers and the riders have been absolutely pushed to the wall, you know. Ever since the fuel crisis started, in the last 12 days or so, we've already had 2 hikes in CNG rates. And if we are to make an assessment, the costs have gone up by around 25 to 30%. And the entire burden of this rising cost is being borne by the drivers. So on the one hand, it's reducing incomes, supply of drivers and riders being more than the demand. And then comes this crushing blow of fuel price hike. And nobody seems to be talking about it. So what else do the workers, I mean, what other recourse is left for the workers?
But to go on strike.
Kind of,
right. But Gaura,
get together and talk about it.
Yes, indeed. And in economic terms, someone has to absorb that shock, right, Gaura? The worker, the platform, or is it the consumer? Who absorbs the shock?
Ultimately, it's already the shock has been largely absorbed by the government of India and OMCs. Increasingly, now you had a 4 rupee hike on petrol, diesel. In the coming months, we'll have more pass on of the burden to the consumer. Ultimately, it will be the consumer, but it'll take some time for the transmission. But in India, we still have a burden sharing model. Unlike, let's say, what you're seeing in the US, where the entire shock is passed on to the consumer. Here, we'll still have some part the OMCs have absorbed, some part the government of India with that excise duty cut has absorbed. And in the coming months, more and more of the burden will also get shared by the consumer, which is,
yes,
you require it, otherwise there'll be too much demand for fuel.
Right. But Mr. Tripathi, just to take that on about the pressures that are building, isn't the pressure also coming from the aggregators, the companies that hire the gig workers? How much of a squeeze is it because of the higher commissions that they're being asked to pay?
No, they're not bothered. They just bother about their profits, you know. And talking about the commissions, they seem to be coming up with new tricks every time. So the latest that we have, even in NCR, is particularly for ride hailing, that there are no more commissions left, you know. Rapido has kind of changed the business model.
Yes.
They have now started the subscription model where you buy a coupon in the morning and then, God willing, you will get a ride. You may get a ride, you may not get a ride. But the aggregator or the platform has already taken the commission in advance, you know.
Yes.
So coming up with these kind of new models has kind of squeezed the drivers much more, you know. Look at the queues outside the CNG stations, because of the fuel. So all this additional time that is being spent by the drivers, the auto rickshaw drivers, waiting for the fuel, the rising costs,
Yes.
the squeeze on their daily incomes. What else is left for the drivers
So
and
what
riders
is
rather
left
than,
perhaps, and Gaura can take this on, because tech layoffs and startup cuts, more people could be entering gig work. Is the sector getting overcrowded, increasing competition? Is that going to push incomes even lower?
I Yeah, it's going to be a very difficult time because you've got a margin squeeze that is coming up because of the input cost pressure, and this is a significant shock. I mean, this particular West Asia crisis, it is, I would say, much bigger than, let's say, what Russia-Ukraine escalation was, because this is going to be a combination of price, possibility of restriction, quantity, supply also. But the challenge for the Indian economy for a very long time has been how to ensure that growth creates jobs. Because even before this tech layoff, which is added to the complication, we've also had an issue that 40% of our labor force is stuck in agriculture, which is contributing 15% of our output, while the real labor intensive sector has actually been construction. So the fact that now that even the software side, the employment intensity of the software sector growth is coming down as we've got AI and other technological innovation. Plus, you've got these issues on the US political front where they are making it even more tougher for individuals to come to the US for a job. It does add pressure. These people may not clash. Let's say the software sector, people who are coming back, they'll look for jobs within the software sector within India, but they may not definitely. The pressure to create jobs and ensure that as your technological changes go ahead,
Yes.
how we are able to ensure that there is employment creation, and that is going to be a challenge. And it is a challenge for us because we are the only economy in the world where the working age population will grow for the next 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely,
And it is
Gaurav.
very
So
important that
then
we
there are
absorb.
also the added pressure from the current oil pressure that we have on the prices, work from home trends. They're reducing daily commute demand as well. So structurally, that could hurt the ride volumes and driver earnings potentially as well. So one wonders, Gaura, if governments need to step in over here with fare revisions, with fuel subsidies, with regulatory protection, or do you think this should be left to the market?
Fuel subsidies, I mean, the fact that the retail petrol prices and diesel prices have only gone up by 4 rupees when your Indian crude basket is in triple digits shows that the OMCs and the government of India is absorbing majority of the shock. I mean, the burden passed through to the consumer has been very moderate in the scheme of things. Last year, Indian crude basket oil price was $70. It has surged to more than $100 per barrel. The entire transmission has not happened to the consumer. So in a way, the government is subsidizing it. Going ahead, I am assuming that there will be some increase in the pass through to the consumer, and then the companies themselves will have to decide how much they pass through to the final consumer. For example, this gig workers,
Yes.
delivery services. Over the period of months, there will be a gradual transmission that will happen from the companies to the consumer. The government of India, their role, they are already playing in ensuring that whatever is the base hike in retail prices, fuel prices, that is where they are subsidizing it
Yeah.
in a way. They have not passed on the entire shock.
Yes. So, meanwhile, if these workers, if the gig workers, they stop working, Mr. Tripathi, you think India is going to finally realize how dependent everyday life has become on them? Or do you think this could lead us astray? In that sense, the strikes are not going to yield much, only create disturbance in already a very squeezed lifestyle that most consumers are facing the brunt of.
Yeah, but you're just talking about the consumers, no? Why don't you look at the situation from the driver's point of view, from the rider's point of view, who are at the lowest ladder or the lowest rung of the society? So our simple proposition is, if there is a strike, why can't the government summon the aggregators and tell them to raise the fares and raise the delivery charges and
Yes.
kind of offset these sufferings of the workers immediately?
Well, what this debate really tells us is that whether it is Silicon Valley or Indian streets, the pressure currently is the same. The costs are rising, protections are falling, and workers are being asked to absorb the shock, as it were. In the gig economy, the promise was flexibility. But for many, it is now turning into a certain kind of fragility. And if the people who keep our cities moving are protesting, then clearly the model itself needs some kind of reset. Sangam Tripathi, Gaura Sen Gupta, thank you for joining us with your perspectives on the big question. So there you have it. Yes, we have a gig economy, and whether you're talking about Silicon Valley or you're talking about workers on Indian streets, the pressure points are the same. There are opportunities, but yes, every job, every opportunity comes with a certain amount of fragility. There is a certain risk involved, and our economy needs to take cognizance of that and work that into newer models that are created in this day and age of technology. I'm Vikram Oza on The Big Question. Thank you for joining us.